Hey everybody, Mr. Boo here, coming to you with a huge Lego City update. It's been a busy couple weeks here in Bricksburg, and basically I'm just going to jump right into it and show you what's been going on here. Bricksburg has been completely rebuilt and reassembled again. What you're looking at right here is this used to be the area where the amusement park was. Now, if you remember, just under the sign here, I had the Disney Castle in the corner. The Ferris wheel was right about here. The carousel was kind of in the foreground. And I was trying really hard to get that darn roller coaster to fit right in here. The more I looked at it, and then once I got the official dimensions from Lego on this, I realized it was just too massive, and I was trying to do too much in this corner. And I just said, you know what? It's just not going to work. I'm going to have to do something different. And so as I played with it more and more, I realized, you know what? We're just going to start all over from scratch and rebuild the city. Now, one thing I'll note is because I made everything basically modular, the modulars are modular, but all of my track pieces are also modular. So all these track segments fit onto 32 by 32 base plates or 16 by 32s. It was relatively easy to move stuff around and reassemble it. And then I just had to do a couple of tweaks here and there and a couple little weird modifications. So the first thing you're going to notice is I've flipped the freight yard or the train yard, which used to be all the way down here over there. It's now in the foreground right when you walk in the room here. This kind of works better, I feel. It's just a better flow for the room. You kind of gradually are drawn into the room, and then we get to the really cool stuff as you go further back in the room and the massive stuff, which kind of gives you a better sense of I don't know, perception, depth perception, or what have you. So I don't know. I'm pretty stoked with how this is turning out. Now, the other thing you'll notice is this frontage right here. So I tried to kind of go for a like a more casual, I don't want to say like Americana, but like a more like residential suburbia kind of small town feel. So I have my more small town modulars along this strip here, which has no roads. So my goal for this area, and actually let me zoom in a bit here so you can see, or I'll get the high level view. This is going to be a boardwalk all along here. And so these are just 16 by 32 base plates that fit right in this area, and they are all for it's just gonna be like a walkway type thing with boardwalk with trees. I have the lights, which I have lit here, so you can kind of see, which is pretty cool. And so it's not going to be as much traffic. It's not going to be as congested. I'm going to add some of my farmers market stalls through here, little shops in the foreground, park benches, lots of greenery, all that kind of stuff. I'm still experimenting with the placement of the trees. The lights, actually kind of like how I have those set up. And so that's kind of what we're looking at here. Now the train yard, again, I have 2 tracks in the train yard. I have the main line, which kind of runs right where the white passenger train is. And then that all kind of goes off into a tunnel, which you can see off to the corner there. And then it loops around just like it did before, and then it kind of continues on its way. Now, I want to show you real quick how I did this. So one of the advantages to going up 2 levels in a Lego City is wiring for lighting. If you're going to do lighting, works out really easily. So if I move this train out of the way, you'll actually see here, these panels pop off pretty easily. And if you look inside, you can actually see there's my switch for all my power. So I have a USB hub right in that little compartment there, and you can actually see the structure for the table underneath. And all the wires are neatly stashed away behind these retaining walls. So it makes it pretty clean. It makes it really easy to hide stuff. It makes it easy to to access things if I need to. These wall sections just pop right off. They just kind of sit on the base plate. You can connect them if you want to lock them for strength, but I just kind of place them just like that, and you get a good idea. So all these wall pieces come off, so you can easily get access to the stuff underneath. Or if a train derails, you can kind of reach in there. So that's kind of the new look for this little part of town. There's still a lot of work I have to do, but the basic core functionality is kind of there. As we move down, I'll show you a little bit more. This is actually interesting as I move down to this middle section. So you can kind of see, this is like a behind the scenes look at my facades, how I cheat. So obviously I got to rearrange this, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do in this little area right here. But you can see this was where the old facade was, and this used to be filled in with modulars in the front. But you can see kind of how my facades kind of end halfway at the bottom, and they just have brick platforms supporting them up. They're all like that except for the one on the right. And that's just to save on cost of bricks, because you know these facades add up very quickly with brick count. I can't imagine you guys that build skyscrapers, the cost is just like astronomical. I'm only doing like one side. You guys have like 4 sides, and some of you even do interiors, which are amazing. So yeah, so that's how I kind of cheated out, because you're never going to see the lower half of the buildings in most cases, and so that's one way you can economize on your bricks by doing that. Now this area, so there's lots of switches. And actually these switches right here, these are official Lego switches now. I switched back to the Lego ones. I love the 40 bricks solution. It's pretty cool. But for this purpose here, I realized all I had to do was make 2 little cuts, and I needed a switch going the other way versus the one I had purchased. And so I just made 2 little cuts on the existing Lego switches to get rid of the return curve that's on the standard switch, and then just connected them with some plates underneath. And this is the resulting crossover switch that you see here. Now, this is actually interesting right here as well. So what I'm thinking of doing to economize and save some space is I'm actually going to take out this curve here in that intersection, push all these modulars over 16 studs, and create maybe like a little miniature boardwalk, kind of like over here, down this little, like an alleyway right there. And then maybe a small parking lot in the foreground, because I lost my old parking lot that I used to have over here. And then have the actual roadway turn this way and go create a little overpass over the railway. So this is just like an interesting, it just creates some interest, so it's not just straight track. It breaks it up a little bit. And I think it's going to turn out pretty well. So I'm starting to do the support columns. I have to build the actual roadway yet. Haven't had a chance to do that. I haven't had a chance to position things. And actually, you'll see also why I want to do that as I move further down here, which I'm going to do right now. You also, real quick, you can see how I build the walls. So I'm still building sections of the wall because I actually have more retaining wall than I did before in the new layout. And so basically, it's all brick built all the way up. And it's just a lot of 1x2s, the angle bricks. So what are those, like 2x2 angled bricks, and some 2x4s and other assorted bricks that are in there. And then of course the arches at the top that finish it off. And then a lot of plates on top to get up to the street level. So basically that's the construction. And you can actually see the lower one, and then with the arches, and then the finished product, finished product, and then the finished product down here with the actual railings on it. Now, we'll keep moving along. I'm trying not to trip on anything. The room in here is a mess, as you can imagine, because I had a lot. It's been a busy couple of weeks tearing this all apart. So here is why I want to move Palace Cinema and all these other guys down 16 studs that way, because right here you see there's a gap. This gap is a 32x32 base plate and a 16x32, which means I can get 1.5 more modulars in my layout as it stands right now. If I move it down 16 studs, I get 2 more modulars. Whether those are custom or if I just save it and put, like, what I'm thinking of doing is maybe little like under construction lots in the meantime until Lego announces next year's modular, and then perhaps the modular after that, or I might get ambitious and build my own. I'll have a little more room and more flexibility to add more modulars to it. So we'll see how that goes. But I think I'm going to slide them down a little bit to gain that extra real estate, because real estate is still at a premium in Bricksburg. You got to know these lots are expensive because there's not a lot of them. So the cool thing also is I was able to save my train station. I just moved it down by flipping everything. The train station, the outdoor train station, which I really liked. I was initially going to do a subway underneath the amusement park, but instead I decided to go with this because I really like this design and it's pretty cool. So I was able to save that in its entirety. And then also, as I move down a little bit more here, it's actually, I'm really excited because I finally got Ghostbusters into the layout. So didn't know what to do. If you remember from my last videos, I've been going on and on for probably like, geez, probably like months and months now. You guys are probably tired of hearing about it, but I didn't know what to do with the Ghostbusters, and I was just like, what am I going to do with this monstrosity? Well, that's what I did with it right there. It's sitting here in the corner. The street actually curves right around here, and then it's going to go off in the distance. And I'm still in the process of painting the wall too, you can see. So I painted almost everything except for this little middle spot here. I need to finish painting. Because I want to like move the modulars, paint, and then move everything back. So it's been a process. But anyways, so Ghostbusters is here. And facing this way actually allows you to open it up so you can get inside and get all the really cool play features inside, because it is a really cool set. So you can actually open it up from here, and so you can actually see the inside and play inside there. So it's kind of cool. So whatever I do here is going to have to be kind of small so it doesn't take up a lot of room. What I'll probably do again is I'm thinking of making just a small parking lot right here. And then, because the really exciting stuff is just a little bit further down, right over here. So basically the new amusement park. So I've got the entrance, which is going to be right around here. So there's going to be a gate going in, probably a ticket booth, I don't know, some other cool stuff, maybe some restrooms, some other assorted odds and ends. And then we have the Ferris wheel, which fits neatly into this corner pretty well, because I have that weird cutout in this room, if you remember, which you can see right there. But because the Ferris wheel itself, the wheel, actually is kind of in the middle of the set, with the supports on the sides, it actually works perfectly in this little corner here. Next to that, we've got the Disney Castle, which I know you're going to say, it looks so familiar. That's where it was originally. What are you doing, Mr. Bookie Boo? I know. Well, it just works in this corner. It looks good. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. And thanks to some feedback I've been getting from some of you guys online, I've elevated it so it's not dwarfed. When it was flat on the ground, it was looked really wimpy compared to the Ferris wheel, and even the carousel was dwarfing it. And so by lifting it up, it's basically one burp high, slightly higher than one burp high. It gives it a little more presence, and it makes it look, I think, a lot better. Now you'll see what I've already got going on is I've got stairways, spiral stairs on both sides there coming down. I'm working on the brick facade. I still got a lot of work to do on this, but the basic layout is all kind of there now, so it's pretty cool. Next to that, got the carousel. And then what you see right here, so see all these plates? That is the footprint for the roller coaster. Now look at it compared to the carousel next to that. I mean, this thing is massive, and this is based on the measurements from Lego's website. I know there's been a little bit of dispute if that's exactly it, but from what I understand, it's like 3.5 base plates wide and about 1.5 deep. And so that's what you see here is 3.5 by 1.5 deep. This thing is just going to be incredible. It's going to be unbelievable. So it's going to, I mean, I can't wait to get it. It's only like a week away. So it's going to be something else. And I think here versus in the front of my room where it's all cluttered together, I think it's just going to look a lot better, and it's not going to be too much going on in one place. And so this is going to be the whole new amusement park area. So what do you guys think? Do you like this plan? Yeah? And then what you have here also, so unfortunately I lost the beach, but I did save the rock wall from the beach. So I'm going to continue the rock wall in the front here just to give some variety. I have to finish building it. The trains, what I'm also going to do, this is my old, if you remember the old one, I had the abandoned train line right here. This is just like a placeholder, but what I'm going to do is have a switch going off this way so I can have a continuous loop in just the city if I want to for the trains. And then this line is going to continue this way. This can actually be reinstated as a train line into a tunnel underneath the amusement park. That's going to continue around and be kind of hidden and then pop out into Ninjago land, which is totally like under construction and in pieces. All the leftovers from old Bricksburg 2.0 are like on this table sitting over here in a pile. It's a total mess. So this will eventually be where Ninjago is, and then I have to figure out how I haven't even thought about that yet. That's like so far out of my mind right now that I don't even know. So that is kind of where we're at. It's been exciting. It's been fun. Made a lot of progress in a short time, and just kind of my thinking was one day I just said, you know what? I'm just going to tear it apart and start over because it just wasn't working. Trying to squeeze everything in, like I said, it was just, I felt there was just too much going on. And so what I decided was to just start over. And that's the beauty of Lego, right? You can start over. It's okay. It's Lego. You can rebuild it. You can do things. I'm headed back down to the new part of the boardwalk of the city. The small town America, a small town part of the city. You can rebuild it and fix it and do what you want. And rebuild it again and do it again if you don't like it. And if it doesn't work, tear it apart and start over again. It's easy to do. It just takes a little time. So that is my huge Lego update. Total shocker, total surprise. I was surprised when I actually tore it all apart and started like rebuilding it. But I think, like I said, I think I'm happy with how it's turning out. So I'll be back soon with another update. I'm going to try to do maybe an update once I get the roller coaster and get that so you guys can actually see that in place in the city and see it in action too, because you can actually motorize it with the power functions, and that's going to be awesome. And then we'll also continue to work on everything else here in Bricksburg. So thank you for watching, and I will be back real soon with another update. Bye.